everyone. It is Wow Wednesday, and you know what that means. I am Nancy Matthews, co-founder of Women's Prosperity Network, and here to bring you another extraordinary member of our community, sharing how she can support you in using your story to ignite change. And I'll be bringing CeCe on. You can see her waiting in the wings. I wanted to take a moment and just give you a couple of quick updates about things happening in our community. And the big thing that's coming up, December 10th and 11th, our legendary Level Up 2-day mastermind experience. And I don't use that word legendary lightly. I use it because we started teaching this 7-step process to give entrepreneurs such as yourself the blueprint to expand and not only achieve your goals in the coming year, but to exceed them. So this is your opportunity to, get out of the day-to-day, focus on your vision, focus on what you want to bring into your life and to the lives of those you want to impact in a positive way in 2022 and beyond. So get your ticket for Level Up. Just go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/level up and use the code SAVE50, all caps, all one word, SAVE50, and you can get your ticket for $50 off, half price. So join us for the legendary Level Up. And guess what? Miss CeCe is going to be one of our presenters, and she's going to share a little bit different things than what we're going to learn today in using the power of your story to ignite change. So let me kick it off. Welcome, CeCe.
All right, welcome and hello. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
It is an honor and a privilege to have you with us. And our journey together goes back pretty much as long as Women's Prosperity Network has been around, right?
Yes,
And
a long time.
A long, long time. And you have contributed so much to our community and to my life personally. And so grateful that you found a way to use your voice, your story, and your experience to make a difference for others. So before she dives into the topic, let me share a little bit about CeCe and her background. CeCe is a veteran, an advocate, a photographer, an author, and a speaker. And her life is centered on 3 core values: God, family, and education. After serving as a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps for 10 years, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
CeCe made a series of not so good decisions and ended up in prison for her involvement in a drug conspiracy. She's focused now on restoring hope to her audiences, to every person she meets, actually, by telling her story of how strategic planning and goal setting changed her life. So welcome, CeCe, and thank you for being with us today.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
So let's dial back a little bit. So you and I met in 2008, I believe it was, when we had just started Women's Prosperity Network. And tell the story of how it happened, because it's kind of cool how all the pieces have come together, right?
Right. So I was going to Regions Bank and just happened to see your business card on the bulletin board. And it said something about the law of attraction. And I was like, ooh, I have to call. And that was the beginning of an amazing relationship between us. So thank you.
It sure was. It sure was. And so CeCe, called the office, came to one of our mastermind experiences that we did at a small country club in Hollywood. And I believe that one of the things that really drew you to the community to become involved, be a member, and be with us for all these years since the beginning, was I was teaching on stage and I shared a piece of my story and one of my mistakes, as it were, when I got pregnant, unplanned at the age of 24, and was debating, do I keep this baby or do I not? And by me sharing my story and being brave enough to say, you know, I was gonna have an abortion. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And, you know, that transparency was one of the things that bonded us to each other. And it's not always easy to share those pieces, like especially if it's something that we feel ashamed of or not proud of. So you, my friend, have shared your story time and time again. Share a little bit about, you know, how you came to the courage to share your story.
Mhm. Well, the stories bond us, stories connect us. And so when you shared your story, all of a sudden I realized that I was not the first person, not the first woman to ever make a mistake.
Mhm.
You know, and I know that may sound a little crazy because we all make mistakes, but you opened the door for me to share my story. And I had been talking to my peers before then, but I
Mhm.
don't think until I actually heard your story, I was like, oh, I can tell regular people, you know,
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
people my story. And so that was it. And I took your speaker workshop, and
Mhm.
that's how it really started for me. So being just brave enough to tell my story.
Yeah, and we know that stories unite us, stories can ignite change, and you have gone on to write books, work with the legislature. You're on, you know, a board here in Broward County, and you speak in prisons. Like, you have really transformed that experience into making a difference for thousands and thousands of lives. You even landed a TEDx talk about all
Yes,
this, right? Because you shared your story.
correct. And you know, like I said, like you said, stories can inspire us, they can unite us, they can ignite us. And it's not until we realize that it's something that happens to everybody that we make mistakes, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And you know, like they say, my message is in my mess. And if I can make a mistake, you know, let's come back from that. Let's come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget the day I was leaving prison. The guard said to me, "See you soon." And now, if you think my afro is big now, back then it was really, really big. And my head was bobbing, and I was like, "Are you coming to Miami? Because I don't want to see you."
Mm.
And once she told me what recidivism is, which is the uh, when you make the same mistake over and you violate your probation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come back, I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Let's change this story. Let's
Yeah.
change it.
Well, and if we could, I want to just touch upon that for a moment, because the whole prison system makes it really hard for people to rebuild their life when they come out. I mean, you can't get a job. You know, how are you going to get a job? Now you have to also pay fines. And if you miss your payments, then you end up back. Like
Yes.
it's rigged to cause people to go back.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. You know,
yeah.
so here's what I decided to do. Yes, we can rant and rave, and the prison system needs to be redone.
Mm-hmm.
But what about if, on an individual basis, we just try to make things right? So, how about I reach out to the next one and they reach out to the next one? I think we say each one reach one, each one
Yeah.
teach one.
Mm-hmm.
How about if I just reach out to my sister or my brother who's right there beside me and say, okay, let's go down this road together
Yeah.
because our stories are the same.
And that's the power that we all have. That's beautiful. That's
Right.
beautiful. So a couple things I want to get to today. Now, one is you talked about how strategic planning and goal setting were really your pathway out. So you came out and just, you know, not going to willy-nilly go with the wind. You made a plan. You said, no, that's not going to be me. You won't see me again. Right?
Although they do, but
Yeah, and it's not in the same way. Yeah.
right.
They see you now in a whole different way.
Correct.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about many people right now are in a phase of needing to reinvent themselves or find new work or find new ways to do things. And that piece about strategic planning and goal setting, I mean, that's why we deliver this Level Up event every year, is so that you have the opportunity to pause and do that. So how did you, you know, apply this strategic planning and goal setting to really transform everything that you were doing?
Okay. Reinvented myself. That was exactly what I did. And I looked at what was going on and what did I want. So I know I didn't want to go back to prison. All right. So then what should I do? And with that in mind, I just decided to live my life a different way. And that was where Level Up and WPN really helped me, and holding me accountable. And I'll never forget, I used to say when people would ask me about WPN, I would say, don't tell them your hopes and dreams if you're not going to do it. Because when you go to the next meeting, one of the sisters is going to ask you, what have you done? I remember just being like, oh my goodness, I'm going to a meeting. Did I do X, Y, and Z that I said?
Beautiful.
Did I accomplish my goals? So yes, and Level Up for me was a big part of that. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you for that. Join us at Level Up, get your tickets for half off, and we'll put the link in the chat, and you go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/level up, save 50. Now, we hear all the time these days the importance of sharing your stories. I mean, Donald Miller's story brand, like there's lots of trainings out there, but here's where I see most people run into a challenge. How do you tell that story? Number one, especially if it's really, a deep emotional experience that you've been through, how do you tell that story without breaking down on stage, right? How do you do that? So we're going to give you some good hows, and I know that CeCe's got a workshop coming up we'll tell you about in a few minutes. So first of all, how do you not break down while you're telling your story?
Well, you do the speaker workshop that you guys put on.
Yes, you do that.
That's number one. So that you can get all your crying out. Because quick funny story, the day that I took that workshop and you said we were going to tell our stories after lunch, I remember coming up to you and saying, no, I can't wait until after lunch. I need to tell the story now, because if not, I'm going to throw up and cry. So let me do it now. So you start telling your story in a safe space. All right. And then, and this is my absolute golden rule, never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story.
Yes.
All right. And if you can remember that, that will get you through.
Absolutely. Great golden nugget right there is never tell a story without making a point, and never make a point without telling a story. They go together. So that's a key right there too, is when you're telling your story, you're not just sharing, oh, I went through this miserable experience, or this happened to me, or my husband, or this person, or you're not just blabbering about it. What's the lesson? What's the point? You've got to pull that out and keep that the focal point of why you're telling the story.
Correct. Because this idea of when I'm telling a story, okay, so I've been to prison, big deal. 1 in every 3 Americans goes to prison. All right. So I'm not that special. I think the special part of the story is that I didn't go back. And so when ever I speak, I'll mention I went to prison. I'll say I went for drug conspiracy because everybody wants to know, why did you go?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the real gem is what happened to me afterwards. All right. But if I start saying what happened in prison, then people want to get the popcorn, like, oh, 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 oh. No, no, you're missing the point.
Mm.
The point is that what I did afterwards, anybody can do that if they plan and they set goals. So, yes.
Amazing. All right, good. So remember that. Now, how about being able to tell a story that doesn't go on and on and on? So I know for me, when I first started sharing stories and experiences that I've had, they were really, 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 really long. And so maybe you didn't have that experience, but I needed to learn how to be able to, make it more concise. But you think, oh no, I have to tell this part, I have to tell that part. So how do you go through that process of taking your story and, molding it into one that will have the most impact?
All right. It goes right back to making the point. You
Okay.
make one point and then you move on. Now, whether you're on Zoom or you're in person, start looking at the people. You'll
Mhm.
see when people start feeling uncomfortable or they start looking away or up or at their phones. Then you know you've gone too far.
Mhm.
Start reeling it in.
Yeah,
All
so it's
right.
really the ability to be present with your audience while
Correct.
you're telling the story. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. And if you start rambling, if you start thinking of words to say, then you've gone too far.
Mhm.
Just bring it on back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, so I was going to say that in an average speech, if you're given a speech, if you're on stage, you can probably get away with 3 points or 3 stories. All right.
Mhm.
Anything more than that, you start to lose the audience because they start getting overwhelmed. And you never want your audience to need therapy after they've listened to you speak.
Another golden nugget right there.
Mhm. So while it may be therapeutic for you to speak and tell your story, you don't want to leave your audience needing therapy.
Mm, really good. So and that requires practice and working with someone who's experienced to help you through that process. Like, and I think speaking in and of itself, getting on stages, whether it's, on Zoom, on Facebook Live, you want to be, you don't have to be perfect, but you want to be polished, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah. So
definitely.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your experience as a TEDx presenter speaker. So for go ahead. You're very
Okay,
excited.
hands down, it had to be the most unbelievable experience of my life. And I would tell anybody, if you even think that you want to be on the TEDx stage, go ahead and apply because it will change your life in ways that you just cannot
Mm,
even imagine.
mm.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful experience.
Yeah. So how did that come about for you? Because I'm sure in our audience, we have lots of people that would love to give a TEDx talk. So how did that happen for you?
First thing I did was I volunteered. I volunteered at TEDx. So I've been actually involved with TEDx since 2015 as a volunteer. Didn't tell them I was a photographer or anything like that. I just went in. I think I was stuffing envelopes or something, but I just needed to have an idea, a sense of
Mm.
what it was. Right. And I think right around the same time as when I took the speaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was lining up the dates and it was probably around
Yes.
the same time. Now, I want this point to really be recognized that let me ask this question. Did you have a desire to speak on a TEDx stage when you went to volunteer? Was that already something that was in your mind or you were just curious about TEDx?
I was curious about TEDx.
Okay, so you were interested, you were curious, and
Right.
went to volunteer. And I wanted this point to be made because whatever it is that you're aspiring towards, get involved in that area, that community, see how you can add value and be of service. So often people want to just show up and say, hey, put me on your stage, or let me do this, or da 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 da. Show up and be a part, be of value in whatever community or organization that you want to contribute to, right? With your message or your business. Let people get to know you first, like our friend Bob Berg says, right? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So show up and volunteer. Huge point. Good.
Right. And, that's the same thing the other day when you mentioned in one of your classes, if you want to be on somebody's podcast or their radio or TV show, you don't say, oh, well, your audience would benefit from hearing me because that, like, no, you really do have to come in a little softer, volunteer for events, show up, get to know the surroundings in the community, which is what makes WPN such a great community of women, because we know, like, and trust each other. And so then when somebody needs something, we're there for each other. So yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right. So you started by volunteering, and you were probably beginning to step into your new suit as a speaker, so to speak, right? You were kind of getting used to the new clothes. It feels uncomfortable at first, and then the more you do it. So anyway, so you show up as a volunteer, then what happened?
Then I forgot about it. I just went on just learning how to be a speaker. And I'll never forget, in 2018, their theme was reinventing yourself. So I applied, and everybody thought that I was going to talk about reinventing yourself in front of the camera because I'm a photographer. But the organizers and I had this great plan, and they were like, CeCe, do not mention your story. Because until that point, I don't think I had gone public with it. Just a few key people knew. And so with the media, hang on one second.
Grab some water. Sharing your story is what we're talking about today, and how you ignite change, not only for yourself, but for everyone that you share your story with. All right, go ahead.
Right. And so even after all this time, you heard how my voice got a little emotional and what have you. So always drink plenty of water. But when I got accepted by TEDx Boca, until that point, I don't think I had gone public. Only a few friends knew, and they told me don't say anything to anybody. So with all the radio and TV interviews, I just showed up. People thought, oh, I'm a photographer. And so nobody actually heard my speech until we did the sound check that day.
Wow.
And it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking for me. Oh my goodness. So yes.
Yeah. And all right, so you applied, and can we talk a little bit about the process of applying? Because most people listening in, I would think, want to do a TED Talk, and there are hundreds of TED Talks happening all the time, and it's not easy to necessarily get picked. Is there some tips that you might share from your experience?
Yes, I would say always remember that TED is looking for ideas, not causes. Okay, so if you have an idea of a solution that would help a particular group of people, that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear, okay, I'll use myself as an example.
Perfect.
I was a young teenage single mother, all right? They want to hear what is one idea that would have helped me through that process.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear, um,
I'm changing the prison system.
I'm changing the prison system.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
You know, they want to hear something. You have a solution for a particular group that has a particular problem. That's what they want to hear. Yes.
Got it. Okay. And tell us about this workshop that you have coming up, because I suspect, when we go back several years and you sharing your story so powerfully, getting on TEDx stages, being invited to speak other places, and we'll talk about some of the impact that you've experienced after being on TEDx. Working with CeCe, let me just say this, you can feel her energy, you can feel her expertise, and you can feel her heart in wanting to support you and share your story in a powerful way. So she has a workshop coming up in a couple of weeks, and tell us about that, my friend.
The workshop is about how to use storytelling to get on stage and be an in-demand speaker. Because remember, stories connect us, stories
Mm-hmm.
unite us and motivate us. And when you can use your story in your particular area of expertise, that's what planners are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because people may not remember what you said, they may not remember what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And the way to do that is by telling a really great story with a point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So the story connects us heart to heart, right? So think about this, everybody listening in and watching today. I want you to think about a speaker that you really admire, who really has, motivated, inspired, and impacted you, whether it's Oprah Winfrey, John Maxwell, Nancy Matthews, Trish Carr, CeCe. It's the story that connected you with that person. So if you are someone who wants to expand your reach, expand your message, have a greater impact, and also a greater income, this workshop that CeCe's offering is going to be all focused on how to take your stories, pick the right stories to share, also find the point inside the story so that you can make that connection. It's happening December 15th, I believe you said.
Yes, December 15th at 12 o'clock.
Beautiful.
And for our WPN sisters and community, I'm going to offer it for $27 for today until 6 o'clock. So if you get your tickets, is that enough time, Nancy? Or do you
Yeah,
think?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, look, we
okay.
want take action.
Take action.
Take action. Yeah.
Right.
So CeCe and I were talking before the show today, and she told me about this upcoming workshop, and the pricing I think was going to be $47. And I was like, okay. And then she said, and for WPN family and community and sisters, join her for this workshop. It's December 15th, 12 p.m. Eastern, and she's doing it for our community for only $27, and you got to get your ticket today. So go to the link is bit.ly/CC story. So CeCe STORY, CeCe story, all lowercase. And that if you go there after 6 o'clock today, it's going to be back up to 47. So I encourage you to grab your ticket for this workshop, because knowing how to tell your story is the single most powerful thing you can do when you're speaking on a stage, when you're doing a Facebook Live, when you're writing emails, like all across the board. Knowing how to tell a story is going to connect you heart to heart with the people you want to reach. So I highly encourage you to do that.
Yes.
Awesome. And we've got the link in the chat and also on the Facebook page. So again, go to bit.ly CeCe story. And we're going to open up for some questions and comments right now. So let's go ahead and let me make that magic happen. And while I unmute people and take the questions coming in, you can raise your hand in a moment. CeCe, share with us one of the strategies that you've used since that time, so you got on this TEDx stage. What are some of the additional opportunities that came up for you after really mastering this piece of telling your story and getting on the TEDx stage?
Well, let me just say, I always answer my phone now. Before, if there was a number I didn't recognize, I might not answer it. But every time I answer my phone, regardless if it may be a telemarketer or not, sometimes really, really good things happen. I'm like, it's amazing. Just yesterday, I had, well, not yesterday, let's say in the last week, I had 3 phone calls, 2 colleges and Career Source Broward, which is back in the day, they used to call it the unemployment office. All 3 called me to come in and speak.
Wow. And are these paid speaking engagements?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
You all hear that?
Yes. And so even if they don't, sometimes you just have to be brave enough to initiate the conversation about the money, because that was one of the things that I was very uncomfortable with before. Am I worth it? How do I ask for the money? Yeah. All of that, the yucky stuff that goes with that. But you know what? Being a part of WPN and working in that community, these are things that you learn, how to ask for the money. And so sometimes it may not actually be physical cash or a check. It can be what we call an honorarium. It can be, other ways that you can make money. Yeah. Doing workshops, everything. So yes, ask for the money.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ask for the money. So you heard that. Answer your phone and ask for the money. And I'll drop this in. One of the things that we teach at our speaker training, when you're being invited to speak at an event or an organization, a corporation, a college, what is your budget for speakers? Like, just ask them the question, what is your budget, when they ask you to speak?
Right.
And sometimes you'll get, there's really not much in the budget, or we don't have a budget. So you can sell books, because they might have an education line item in their budget, but not a speaker line item. You can, as you mentioned, do an honorarium. You could offer to do a workshop for them, which would be a paid experience. So there's lots of ways to monetize this. You just got to learn the ropes, get your story down. So make sure you go to bit.ly/CeCe story, CECE story, and join her for the workshop on December 15th. As expected, my friend, we got lots of people in queue. So go ahead and hit *6 if you're on your phone, or raise your hand if you're on the computer, and we'll go ahead and start taking some questions and comments. So let's start with Laura Barker. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my gosh, CeCe. You just have opened up my whole world for speaking. I am so appreciative of you sharing your story, the ups and downs, really, and then the, arriving, really. Just, you've arrived, and it is so great. I love ask for the money, right? That is something I struggled with, and I still do a little bit, but I'm getting much better thanks to WPN, right?
Yes, because you are.
You said, right? Because it's like you said, CeCe, WPN gives us these tools, right? I am so thankful, Nancy, to you and the sisters as well for bringing CeCe, for bringing all these years, right? That if we just will really try to accept ourselves, right? And learn,
very good.
And learn from the community, because we really do. This is a unique community, ladies. you know, and there may be gentlemen on the call too, but it really is a unique community, and CeCe is evidence of that, you know, and Nancy too. They have created something that fosters co-opetition, right?
Yeah, love
right.
that word.
And that's what it's all about. And you know, think about CeCe sharing all this incredible information. Right? She doesn't have to do that. This is just out there. And I'll tell you what, I'm signing up for your course on the 15th. Are you kidding? $27? It might as well be free. Holy cow, for the value. Thank you for offering that, CeCe.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'll be quiet now and let somebody else. I didn't really have a question, I guess. I just wanted to say how much I just am so grateful and how helpful you've been, CeCe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Laura, so glad that you're with us. And I just had really a vision come through for you about the stories that you can share. Like you are brilliant in business, my friend, and I'm so glad you're teaching. And she's actually going to be presenting at Level Up about LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Your story, my friend, is going to make such a difference for people.
Oh, thank you. I'm developing it, really, thanks to WPN. And so I'm looking forward to getting it out there.
Awesome. All right, beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you for just being a part of our community. It's perfect. All right. Let's go to Dr. Smile Roz Knighton Warfield, who is loved, valued, appreciated, highly favored, blessed, and most cherished. How'd I do?
I have it in the writing, but CeCe, oh my God, for a minute, well, a few minutes, I couldn't even hear y'all. But I saw all the energy and the love in the body movement and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, this is going to be, I'm saying goodbye to November. Hello, December. I'm going to have to listen to this one just to do my workout because that was so much energy. So I'll be looking forward to having the opportunity to be in the room. And you are loved, appreciated, celebrated, valued, and most cherished. I love it. Ask for the money. And you know what? Let me say this. In my head, I'm thinking, Mary, Mary, go get your blessing. Go get your blessing. So CeCe, you'll have to have a private moment because when you said honorarium, I said, oh, she been there. You know, all yeah, girl, we gotta have a talk. So I love
all right. Thank you, Roz.
I love y'all. Y'all have a great, God amazing day.
We will.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Roz. All right, let's go to Olivia. Good morning. Your line is open.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that my phone was, I just answered the phone. Anywho,
it's all perfect.
I'm so excited because I feel like everything is just coming together. Tell me, how has Toastmasters helped you? I've been in Toastmasters for quite some time, and I am doing a lot of volunteer work with Toastmasters, and I've earned my distinguished Toastmasters, and I think that I can, you know, I have my moments when I speak well, and then I have my moments when everything just combobbles.
I like that word, combobbles.
It just like, I get nervous and, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. And I know I have a story because, you know, we overcome. I'm a firm believer, and I know that I overcome by the word of the Lamb and by the word of my testimony. And your story is your testimony, CeCe, and it's just awesome how you have your testimony is so powerful, and it is like freeing. So, you know, I believe that this is like my God-given gift, but I need to stir it up and develop it and grow it.
All right. So let me say, yes, I am a Toastmaster. They've done really, I've done really well in Toastmasters, but learning to tell your story, you have to do it in a safe space. And that's what WPN gave me. Women who were my age group, you know, who had my life experiences, that when I came to Nancy and said, hey, Nancy, I've been to prison. That she didn't judge me. The sisters did not judge me. And so I will always say, start telling your story in a safe space. And I'm actually even tearing up here, remembering the love and the warmth that I felt that first day telling my story, because it was not easy. And so sometimes before you go public, like Toastmasters, you need a safe space like what WPN creates with their community and their sisterhood, where you can tell your story. Because even in my case, I was the first woman that I knew that had been to prison. But once I shared that, then other women came to me and they were like, well, we haven't been, but our husband, our children, you know, and I was like, oh, wait, you know, like I'm not the first person in America to have gone to prison. So that's where I say find a safe space like WPN. When you go to level up, you will find those women, you will connect with them. They will become your tribe where you can start to refine your story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And also it's about a space to work through the emotional phase that you'll go through. Because the first time you tell your story, like you're scared and will they judge me? And, you know, even though you can feel you're in a safe space, you might still be a little bit scared about it. It's going to be very emotional. And then you practice it again and you work through those emotions and you practice it again until eventually you can be on a TEDx stage to tell the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a quote I heard from Amy Porterfield: when telling your stories, you want to share stories that are scars, not wounds. So if it's still an open wound, it's not time to tell it on stage.
Correct.
So you want to get till the place where it's healed, and I got a scar, but the scar doesn't hurt anymore, right? It's still there. It's still part of you. So there's practice in that. Thank you, Olivia. And practice at Toastmasters is a great practice ground, especially for getting comfortable in speaking in front of rooms, not saying and so and what, and putting your thoughts together and those pieces of the puzzle. This deeper level, we support you in that in our workshops, as well as the workshop with CeCe on December 15th. Get your ticket.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Olivia. Let's go ahead. We've got more callers in the house. Pastor Dorothy May Ross, your line is open.
Now that's the question. As a pastor, having a story to tell. And I like what you said about if it's still a wound, then don't tell the story. I've got a story to tell, but I'm telling you, it's been at least 10 or 15 years, but that wound is still open. Such a great story. But as a pastor, what type of story is a great story to tell? Because most people, even though they want to hear about everybody else's problem, what type of a story is great for a pastor to talk about?
Let me ask you, what do you speak about? Are you like in leadership or motivation, productivity? Tell me more about the kind of speaking you do.
All of the above. I love encouraging people, okay? There's not a subject that I really can't talk about. There's not, I'm the type of person that when I tell a story, I want people to be able to open their minds up and see that story and actually look as though they're in the story themselves. So let's say that if I told a story, I'm sitting at the table and I'm really having a cup of coffee, and I decided to give God a cup of coffee because he's on the other side of the table listening to what it is I have to say. I want him to see that story.
Okay, so let me just say this. You know, coming from prison terminology, we've all heard snitches get, no, wait, snitches get stitches. All right. We've
Yeah.
all heard that.
Yeah.
We've all heard that. I like to put a little spin on it. All right. And it goes something like niches get britches. Okay. Meaning that when you niche down and choose one area that you speak on and you become known for that, that's when people or planners will come to you and ask you to be their speaker. Nobody will ever ask me to speak on, I don't know, the price of tea in China or the OPEC oil prices, because that's not what my area of expertise is. All right. But everybody knows that if CeCe is going to speak, it's something to do with stories. It's how to tell your story to get out the reinvention about when you come out of prison. All right. Not that I can't speak on the other things, but this is what I'm really, really good at. Okay. So niches get britches. When you have a niche, they pay you so you can get britches. And for all of the young people in the audience, britches is what we used to call pants back in the day.
I love it. I love it. And hey, Dorothy May, something that came up. So CeCe, that was brilliant. And something that was triggered is for Dorothy May, perhaps a type of story you can tell, since what I know about you is you teach people how to, pray for the impossible, to how to hold your faith when all seems like it's failing. Like perhaps a story you could tell is maybe when your faith had wavered, or maybe, and if you have one of those. Okay. And now you're giving a lesson to people that ties with what you want to be able to deliver to them as a way to stay faithful, even in the face of what seems to be impossible.
Correct.
Okay. So something like bouncing back in trying times or something like that.
Something like that, yes, but let's bring it down to your personal story of a time in your life, when your faith wavered.
Got it. Thank you, ladies.
So let me just say something here right quick. When you're a speaker and you're on the stage, yes, you are a public figure, but that does not mean your whole entire life needs to be open for the public. So you just choose one or two, maybe 3 stories about when your faith might have wavered or when you were incredibly blessed, and tell those stories and adapt those stories to your audience. So if you are speaking at a leadership convention, you could tell the story. But then if you're speaking to, say, health and mental health, you tell the same story, but a slightly different spin. So you're telling the same story, but just from different angles.
Oh, so good.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Another golden nugget. Awesome. Thank you, Dorothy May. All right, we got lots of people in queue. We got about 10 more minutes to go. So let's go ahead and open up for Peg Duchesne.
CeCe, so great to see you and be with you this morning. Loved what you shared. I have signed up for December 15th. What a no-brainer deal you're giving your WPN sisters. So grateful for that. And I can't wait for you to pour into all of us who are taking advantage of this special. And it's just phenomenal to see you. I have the biggest smile on my face since I saw your name on the schedule. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And Peg and CeCe go up way back, 13 years in the Women's Prosperity Network community. So
2008.
Stay with us. It works.
2008. It works. Thank you, CeCe. Thank you, Nancy.
You're
You're
most
welcome.
welcome. Grateful for you, my friend. All right, let's open up our next caller. Phone number 240510. Your line is open. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can. Who am I speaking with?
This is Joyce.
Hi, Joyce. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice always to be on Wow Wednesday. I love Wow Wednesday.
We love having you. Do you have a question for CeCe?
I do have a question, but I really wanted to say something quick about Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for a long time. I've even competed at national level. What I wanted to say is Toastmasters is great. You can be there. There's research to do when you have a speech, but it does not tell you or show you how to sell and market. If you are going to take public speaking as your profession or you're going to speak somehow somewhere.
Okay,
So,
wait. Stop for one second.
How to learn to ask for the money, and then taught me how to. And I'm not saying Toastmasters is bad. I actually want to start my own club.
Yeah,
But
hey, Joyce, hold on one second because you sparked something in CeCe.
Okay, so I have to say this. Yes, for anybody who's out there who's in doubt, I absolutely love Toastmasters. But if you want to learn how to ask for the money, come to Level Up. Come to Level Up. Do the speaker workshop.
Exactly.
Yes, you can absolutely learn how to speak at Toastmasters. But if you want to make a living out of this, if you want to get paid, if you want to learn how to ask for the money, come to Level Up. Come to this. Yes, absolutely. So
exactly.
All right, go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Ask your question, Joyce, so that I can get a few more people in.
As I said, I love Toastmasters. I do want to teach young people how to speak and all that. So good. So Level Up, and of course WPN has taught me so much. I'm so grateful. I asked for the money now. I actually got 2 sales this morning by asking for the money.
Oh yeah, that's my girl.
Yes. And my programs are out there, so I'm so excited. Yeah. But here's the thing. My question is, I have a lot of stories, but I do have a story to tell about what I teach. I'm a health and lifestyle coach specializing in nutrition, exercise, and stress management. And sometimes I really don't know what story to tell. I like everybody else, every woman, I like to feel good in my body, and I like to see myself fitting into my clothes. But it's a challenge, even if I am a health coach, because I'm still a woman. So how do I tell some of these stories? And definitely I'm signing up for your class, CeCe.
All right. So the best advice I can give you is when you are going to speak somewhere. So I had those calls come in this week, and they said, CeCe, can you come and speak? I always ask the demographics of the audience. Is it men? Is it women? What's the age group? Are they employed, unemployed? What's the industry? And then I ask the most important question of all. I ask the planner, what do they hope their audience walks away with?
Oh, that's so good.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Right. Because I've got bunches of stories. I've got 6 grandsons that are a riot. But do I need to tell their antics at a health and wellness conference? No. So you have to ask the organizer, what do they hope their audience leaves with? And then you make the story fit.
Right. Beautiful. All right, Joyce, did that give you some good guidance?
Yes, it did. And thank you so much. I'm
awesome.
So excited. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, CeCe. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. And congratulations. Celebrate getting those sales today. That makes me very happy for you. And the people that you're serving, because that's what it's about. That's what it's about. All right. Let's go ahead and open up for our next caller. I think I had another hand up. You can hit *6. I think there we go. Peg already shared. I guess I thought I saw hands up. Who else has a question? Go ahead and hit *6 and you'll be able to unmute yourself if you would like to ask something. CeCe. Let's see, we got someone at Krista from New York. Hello, Krista.
Hello. Hi, Nancy and CeCe.
Nice to have you with us today.
It's good to be inspired on this Wednesday morning. And my question is, I wanted to know about the TEDx. I'm curious how you, CeCe, were able to unite this inspiring TEDx talk with your ultimate business goals. And since you've worked with TEDx and volunteered, I'm curious to see kind of in general how you've seen other speakers doing the same thing, where maybe they had this great idea, but it didn't always unite with their business right away. Because that's
Great
something that I
question.
do for my clients, is help them kind of unite stories and business, since I'm a writer, and I'm always inspired by hearing other stories of people doing the same thing, because it's a real challenge, especially for myself, even more than my clients. It's very challenging.
All right. So are you asking how TEDx helped them, or
how they united their message with their business message?
Right. So how did being on a TEDx stage end up bringing you more income?
Well, more how your message, well, you could do that too, but my question was more about the message and how they kind of, because you can't really plug your business, or maybe you can, but how does your message unite? How do your messages, your life messages, your TEDx message, your business message?
All right. So perfect question. I would say 95% of all people who apply to TEDx get denied because they start to plug their business. They start to give a motivational or inspirational or even a transformational speech. That's not what TED is looking for. They are looking for an idea that solves a problem for a particular group of people. All right. So anytime you start talking about your business or anything like that, that's not even considered. They're looking for an idea, not a cause, not your business biography, how great your company was when it started way back in your parents' garage. They're not interested in that. What is the group of people that you solve a problem for? Yes.
And if you can tie that to why you're in the business you're in, then it connects.
Then it connects. But also, each event has a theme. So make your idea connect to that theme, and then you're cooking with gas. Yes.
Did that answer your question, Krista?
Good point. Yeah, and you reiterated that point about the idea, not a cause, and that's a great point. So basically, Nancy, you're answering it by saying you just kind of tie the idea briefly to why you're in business.
Well, yes, and like one of the things that I've done with people when they come to speaker training, and I think, Krista, you even experienced this.
I did. It was a wonderful experience telling my story in front of the room.
Yes, and so what I find to be true is whatever people have chosen for their business, there's something deep inside of them that has them want to make a difference in that market segment, right? And I talked in real business terms there, but
absolutely.
It's always there. So, and that's why people would want to do business with you, is if you have a real passion for the problem they have and you want to help them solve it.
All right.
So it fits together. Together. Just being able to weave it so that it's, not salesy and just from the heart. that's where, coming to Women's Prosperity Network workshops, going to CeCe's workshop, that's where, all of that gets revealed. It's kind of like peeling away all the other stuff and say, oh, there's the gold, there's the diamond.
Right.
Thank you very much, Nancy and CeCe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I was so happy that you're here today. Great to have you with us, Krista. Awesome. All right, we are at the top of the hour. This has been a rich, rich conversation and lots of golden nuggets shared by CeCe. Be sure that you go to her workshop next 2 weeks from today, December 15th. Go to bit.ly/CeCe Story. And that's going to be December 15th. And then you can also see her at Level Up, along with a lineup of extraordinary speakers. We are committed to giving you exactly what you need to take your message to the masses, increase your impact, increase your income, and do it all in a space where you are loved, supported, and sometimes kicked in the butt a little bit. with the velvet boot, do that. So come to Level Up. We got you. All right, CeCe, thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you at Level Up.
Yes, yes. I hope to see everyone there. So
Awesome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure and purpose. Everyone out there, get out there, make this a wow day. It started off that way. Let's continue in a wonderful wow Wednesday. Till next time, have a beautiful day. Bye, everybody. Bye, CeCe.
Bye.